Once upon a time, in the frosty realm of the icy castle shrouded in thorns, silence reigned supreme. The lonely prince, whose heart had grown as cold as the castle itself. Within those chilling stone walls, anyone who dared to display a smile in the prince's presence faced dire consequences. Punishments were fierce and swift, and as the prince's displeasure with joy deepened, the inhabitants of the castle grew more and more afraid. In their quest to avoid the prince's wrath, they concealed their emotions, wearing masks of indifference and fear, suppressing the light within themselves. The people whispered among themselves in hushed tones, their voices barely audible, "Let's leave this dreadful place. We cannot endure living like this any longer. If this continues, our hearts will turn as cold and rigid as the stone walls that surround us." The creeping vine slowly, but steadily, claimed the fortress, obscuring its beauty and imprisoning it within nature's grasp. Amidst the icy fortress filled with thorns and a resounding silence, the prince found himself abandoned. As time passed, we find ourselves in a grand mansion where the prince's stern and joyless demeanor remained unchanged. He encountered a maid who, in an unfortunate moment, displayed a smile. His anger flared as he confronted her, saying, "I told you not to smile." The maid, respectful and apologetic, responded, "I apologize, young master. I will be more careful." The prince, though seemingly unaffected by her apologies, waved her away, his frustration evident. He muttered to himself, "So annoying. I really don't like how you're smiling. I'm not in a good mood. It's all fake." However, the somber atmosphere of the mansion was soon disrupted by an unexpected visitor. A young girl named Cheon Sarang entered the mansion. She approached the prince with enthusiasm and curiosity, asking, "Who are you? Do you live here? It's so big." She introduced herself, saying, "I'm Cheon Sarang." He asked if she lived there, and she responded that she had been following her mother and had spotted the big house resembling the one she had seen on TV. She imagined it must be wonderful to live there. Confused, he questioned what was so great about it. In her innocence, she explained that everything there was amazing. The grass was incredibly soft, and even if you fell, it didn't hurt. Moreover, there were numerous hiding places and countless trees to climb. He was astonished by the notion of climbing trees. As they conversed, they suddenly heard footsteps approaching. The little girl instinctively grabbed the boy's hand, and they both hid in the bushes. Curious, he asked why they were hiding. She confessed that her mother had instructed her not to wander around, but she had sneaked out nonetheless. Finding the opportunity, she asked if there was a place where they could play without fear of adults interrupting. The boy fell into silence, still taken aback by the encounter. After a few seconds, he disclosed a location, and she gleefully suggested they play there together. As her mother had mentioned being away for a while, he remained silent for a moment and then nodded, uttering, "Sure." Her excitement grew, and she exclaimed, "Yay!" Suddenly, the boy asked her, "But why do you keep smiling?" At his question, her smile vanished, and she appeared shocked. He repeated his inquiry, questioning why she continued to smile even though she didn't know him. She remained stunned for a moment and then replied that she didn't realize she was smiling, perhaps it was because she felt happy. The boy said he doesn't like smiling and ordered her to stop smiling. She responded to him, "Okay," while smiling again. Unbeknownst to them, a maid standing on the roof observed the young master's interaction with Sarang. She urgently called out, "Sarang." They proceeded inside the house, with the young master taking a seat on the couch. Sarang, as it turned out, was the daughter of the new maid. The old maid apologized to the young master on behalf of the new maid, yet again explaining that she had asked Sarang to remain in the employee waiting room, but the young girl had managed to sneak out. To her surprise, the young master reassured her, stating that there was no need for her to quit. The new maid was taken aback and confused, asking, "Huh?" The young master responded, asking if he needed to repeat himself. She expressed her gratitude to the master and hastily left the room, still holding Sarang's hand. As they departed, the young master was looking at Sarang from behind. The next day, one wandered in the garden and spotted two candies on a leaf. As he approached, he saw Sarang's leg peeking out from behind the bush. He knew it was her hiding spot. He moved closer and said, "I can see you. Is this where you hide?" Sarang stayed silent. He tried again, concerned, "If you keep coming out like this, won't you get in trouble again?" Sarang thanked him for the previous day, as she thought her mom would be fired because of her. "Thank you, and those candies are for you," she said. One fell silent for a moment, then sat down near the bush and invited her to come out. He assured her that if she gave him the candy, he would let her off the hook. However, Sarang hesitated, explaining that her mom told her not to be a nuisance. Confused, Juan asked, "Then why did you come again?" Sarang countered by asking if she really was a nuisance. He responded, "I don't think so." Her face lit up with a big smile, and she stood up, looking him in the eyes. She asked if they could play together again that day. He agreed, saying they could play for a while. Sarang laughed with excitement. However, Juan quickly told her not to smile, to which she replied, "Okay," with another smile. In the following months, they became close friends. One day, they sat beneath a tree to play. Sarang suggested playing princess, and Juan asked if she wanted to be the princess. Surprisingly, she said, "No, you're the princess." Juan was surprised and looked at her strangely. Juan asked about the prince, and Sarang explained that there was no prince in her games with her mom, they only had a princess and a queen. Since they were playing together that day, he would be the princess, and she would be the queen. Juan questioned the logic, saying he didn't want to be a princess and should be the prince since he was a boy. Sarang responded with a smile, saying, "Because you're pretty." Juan retorted, "What kind of logic is that?" With a big smile, she said, "Now, let's play a little." Juan looked at her and asked if she was the princess, but she corrected him, saying she was the queen. Sarang motioned for Juan to come closer and said, "Come here, I'll sing you a lullaby." She gently guided his head to rest on her lap and whispered, "My prince, you're tired from studying, aren't you? Just relax and sleep." Juan watched as she lovingly tapped his head. Overwhelmed by the moment, he closed his eyes and fell into a deep sleep. The scene suddenly shifted. A young child walked through a grand castle, searching for his mother. He approached the servants, asking if they had seen her, but they hadn't. Uncertain of her whereabouts, he continued to cry out for his mommy. Suddenly, his older sister appeared before him. She informed him that their mother was not there. When he asked where she was, she replied that he knew their mother best, so how could she know? He cried even harder. His sister leaned in, wiping away his tears with a handkerchief, and urged him to stop crying, saying a prince shouldn't cry. "You're dirty. Go wash up quickly and return to your room." With that, she started walking away, and he called after her, "Sis." She warned him not to follow her and continued on her way. Some servants nearby greeted them, saying, "Hello, princess." "Hello, prince. What are you doing?" With teary eyes, he explained that he couldn't find his mommy. A servant smiled and replied, "I see." Then, with a smile on her face, she suggested, "It's such a beautiful day. Would you like to take a nap?" The weight of those words felt heavy. That voice felt deep, and his heart began to beat faster. In an instant, Juan's eyes shot open wide with fear, and his heartbeat raced. He found himself lying with his head in Sarang's lap. Sarang looked at him and asked, "Appa, did you have a nightmare? You were making strange sounds while you were sleeping. Is it a ghost?" Juan quickly responded, "No, it's not a ghost, it's just my mom." Sarang looked at him with a puzzled expression, unsure of what he meant. Getting up from Sarang's lap, Juan gazed down at the grass as he shared his dream. "I had a dream where I was being scolded." Sarang wondered if it was because he didn't study and took a nap. Juan nodded, confirming her assumption. In an attempt to help, Sarang offered, "Then I'll do a red sun for you." She moved her hands through his hair in a random pattern, explaining that it was a form of hypnotism to erase unwanted memories. She assured him that she would do it again if he had another scary dream. The prince questioning why she kept smiling. Sarang, hypnotism, smiled and explained, "I guess I keep smiling because I enjoy playing with you, but if you don't like smiling, I'll stop." She forcefully closed her mouth, attempting to suppress her smile. Concerned about her discomfort, Prince interjected, "I'll let you smile, so stop it." Sarang, excited by his response, asked if she could smile. The prince agreed, saying she could smile if she wanted to. Sarang then inquired about what was bothering him, and the prince shared his fear of being scolded again, this time because of his hair. He clarified that it was his sister, not his mother, who he was concerned about. Surprised by the mention of the prince's sister, Sarang expressed her desire to have a sister as well. She asked if he hated his sister, and the prince revealed that it was his sister who disliked him, along with his friends who had similar sentiments. This brought up a previous memory. His sister Hwaran and his dad sat together at a dining table, silently eating their food. Their father broke the silence. Yesterday, Hwaran received her report card, and the results were good. Hwaran expressed her happiness. However, his words quickly turned critical as he addressed her disappointing math grade. He reminded her of his previous instructions to spend more time in class and hoped she wouldn't make the same mistake again. Hwaran nodded slowly, acknowledging his words. Their father then turned his attention to Prince, mentioning that he heard about his impressive performance, scoring all A's and 100 in his subjects. He praised Prince as being better than Hwaran at her age, expressing his pride as a father. He also looked forward to the two of them studying together. Their father then advised Hwaran to work harder, to which she responded, "I'll do my best." Then Prince again thought, "Are all siblings like that?" In a different scene, the prince pondered aloud, "Why do I climb trees?" The scene then shifted to a few hours ago, where the prince and Cheon Sarang were engaged in an educational activity. Sarang asked the prince, "How do you solve this issue?" Sarang, showing enthusiasm, praised the prince by calling him smart. The prince, with a modest response, said he didn't know and attributed his ability to solve the problem to being older. Sarang continued to inquire, asking if the prince knew everything in her book. The prince confidently replied, "Yes." Sarang expressed her amazement, but the prince humbly downplayed it, stating, "Nothing amazing about that." Cheon Sarang asked the prince, "Will I be like you when I grow up?" The prince responded, "Maybe." Sarang expressed her determination, saying, "I will work hard to become as smart as Appa." Appa, solve that one too. The prince solved the problem, and Sarang thanked him, praising him as the smartest person she knew. The prince seemed surprised by this compliment, asking, "Really?" Lost in his deep thoughts, Prince had a flashback of once when he walked towards Hwaran's room with a book in his hand, explaining that he was studying mathematics and needed help with something he didn't understand. He acknowledged his sister's academic prowess, saying, "My sister is better than me." However, his sister seemed to taunt him, responding with a taunting remark, "Why do you need me? Do it yourself." Cheon Sarang noticed that the prince appeared distressed and asked what was wrong. The prince explained that his sister was angry with him because he had asked for her help with a math problem, but she had refused, questioning why he couldn't solve it himself. Sarang, eager to help, assured the prince that she could help him with the problem. The prince, doubting her abilities, mentioned that it was a middle school math problem, suggesting that it might be too difficult for her. Sarang remained confident and said, "I can do it. This is not a problem." The prince showed her the math problem, to which Sarang responded, "Have you ever climbed a tree?" When the prince admitted that he had never climbed a tree, Sarang decided to teach him how to climb trees instead of studying. They switched to the present scene, where the prince was attempting to climb a tree, with Sarang enthusiastically encouraging him. The prince questioned Sarang about why she always climbed trees. She responded that it made her feel better. The prince expressed concern for her safety, but she reassured him that she was okay and hadn't fallen. Suddenly, the prince's sister wonders, "Who's that?" In next day, Cheon Sarang was excited to see the prince and greeted him with enthusiasm, "You're here." The prince responded by asking if she was looking for him. Cheon Sarang then showed him something, saying, "Appa. Does not it look delicious?" The prince was curious and asked, "Where did you get them?" Cheon Sarang cheerfully explained to the prince that it was her birthday the day before, and her mom had bought the fruits as a birthday gift for her. She invited the prince to join her in eating the fruits, saying, "Let's eat it together." The prince was surprised to learn that it was Sarang's birthday. Sarang continued, describing the party her mom and grandma had prepared for her. She mentioned that her grandmother had cooked soup and added plenty of meat. Sarang deduced that her cannot visited the prince the previous day because she had been busy with the birthday preparations. Sarang expressed her desire to invite the prince to her birthday party, but her mom had advised against it, thinking it might bother him. Instead, she decided to bring him some candy as a gift and had even thoughtfully brought napkins to clean their hands. She enthusiastically praised the chocolate and encouraged the prince to try it. After the prince tried the chocolate Sarang had given him, he found that it had melted. He pointed out the melted chocolate to Sarang, and she apologized, explaining that she believed it had melted because of the hot weather. Sarang expressed her disappointment, saying she wanted him to enjoy the delicious chocolate as well. The prince reassured her, saying it was okay and that he could eat it even in its melted state. He showed her that it hadn't melted completely and that there was still some left. He found it delicious and encouraged Sarang to eat some too. She mentioned that she had already eaten some and insisted that he could eat the rest. The prince reflected that he had thought Sarang might cry when she saw the melted chocolate. However, Sarang appeared to be enjoying the chocolate, and the prince decided to go find something similar. He told Sarang to wait for him and left. The prince went searching for something similar to the chocolate they had enjoyed earlier. When he found what he was looking for and returned, he presented Sarang with a new piece of chocolate. As Sarang exclaimed, "Pretty!" The prince presented all of the items to Sarang and explained that they were for her, serving as her birthday gift. The prince assured her that she could eat them, as he had just enjoyed some chocolate himself. Sarang, determined not to let the chocolate melt this time, promised, "I won't let the chocolate melt next time." She even decided to give the prince a present for his birthday as well. The prince explained to Sarang that his birthday had already passed. The prince, however, conveyed that his birthday was boring, and some people who attended were not kind to him. Sarang assured him not to worry and promised to celebrate his next birthday with him to ensure that he wouldn't be bored. She also expressed her gratitude for the chocolate. The scene then transitioned to Prince's imagination of his birthday party with Sarang. In the next scene, Cheon Sarang excitedly showed the chocolate she received from the prince to her mother. Her mother commented, "That's so pretty. Did you thank him?" Sarang confirmed that she had indeed thanked him. Her sister, however, couldn't find the chocolate and expressed her confusion. The maid then informed them that Master One, the prince, had taken it earlier. Sarang's sister wondered aloud if the prince now liked eating candy, raising questions about his newfound interest in sweet. In the next scene, the prince and Cheon Sarang were hiding in the bushes. Sarang observed, "They are cleaning the swimming pool again," to which the prince responded, "They do this every day." Sarang, curious, asked the prince why he didn't want to swim. She shared that if her house had a pool, she would play in it every day. The prince explained that he simply didn't like swimming. In a reflective moment, the prince remembered a past memory. He recalled a time when he had slipped into the pool and was struggling in the water. He had called out for help, and his father had approached. However, his father had told him, "The pool is not deep, just rely on yourself and get out of there." In this scene, a maid attends to the prince, who has just woken up. The maid is visibly relieved that the prince is awake and asks him if he feels any pain or experiences dizziness or the urge to vomit. She offers to prepare something for him to eat and inquires whether he would like her to call a doctor. The prince, however, questions why everyone is smiling, as he was in a distressed state and thought he was about to die. He pleads with them not to laugh. He reveals that he had drowned before and recounts that he had passed out, and the servants had rescued him. Cheon Sarang reacts with surprise upon learning that the prince had drowned before and exclaims, "Really?" Cheon Sarang empathizes with the prince's near-drowning experience and mentions that she had her own frightening incident in the sea when her leg cramped, leading to a near-drowning experience. She tells him that she was so scared that she got nightmares and started sleeping next to her mom for comfort. The prince, trying to appear tough, teases Sarang, saying that she can't sleep well because she's weak. He suggests that they leave since watching the pool being cleaned is boring, and he offers to show her his room. Sarang expresses some concern about being punished by her mother for hanging out too much, but the prince reassures her and says that everything will be alright. Where Cheon Sarang asks Prince if he has any toys in his room. Prince responds that there are no toys but plenty of books in the room. Cheon Sarang doesn't seem interested in the books and comments that the room looks like an adult's room. Prince offers to get her something to eat, and while he's away, Sarang explores the room. She notices the many prizes he has won and the presence of a computer. When the prince returns, he playfully asks if she's already bored with his room, and she responds by saying that there are many amusing things in the room. Cheon Sarang expresses her desire to see an Earth toy and mentions that she can find her own country on it. She saw the game at school and wanted to play with it. The prince shows her the globe, and Sarang is excited to see her country represented on it. She's eager to draw her country next time. Curious about the prince's experiences, Sarang asks if he has visited other countries before. The prince responds that he has, though not much, and lists some places he's been to. When Cheon Sarang asks how other countries were, the prince mentions that they all look the same, to be honest. As they continue their conversation, the prince shows her something cool on the globe, and it begins to glow, bringing joy to Sarang. In this night scene, Cheon Sarang expresses her desire to get closer to the swimming pool and play with the water. The prince is initially hesitant and doesn't want to go into the pool, so he tells Sarang that she can play, and he will watch from the side. Cheon Sarang is excited and grateful for the opportunity to play in a swimming pool for the first time. The maid suggests that it might be better if the prince plays with her, but he declines. While Cheon Sarang plays in the water, the prince reflects on how she can still enjoy playing in the pool despite her previous near-drowning experience. As Cheon Sarang makes waves in the pool, the maid brings them some fruits to eat. The prince decides to go get some drinks and candy. He asks Cheon Sarang if she wants cola and candy, to which she eagerly agrees. However, as Cheon Sarang is playing, her foot slips, and she falls into the water. She begins to panic and calls for help. The prince rushes to her aid, but hesitates due to his own traumatic experience. As Cheon Sarang continues to shout for help, the prince remembers his father's words about not diving into shallow water and that he should get out on his own. Overcoming his hesitation, the prince jumps into the water to save Cheon Sarang. The maid arrives, and there is a brief moment of chaos as Cheon Sarang coughs and chokes after being pulled out of the water. The prince reassures her that he's fine but suddenly faints. After regaining consciousness, the maid asks the prince if he would like some porridge, indicating her concern for his well-being. The prince inquires about Cheon Sarang, and the maid hesitates before revealing that she left the household due to personal reasons. The prince expresses frustration about not being able to locate Cheon Sarang, as he had tried to ask people about her whereabouts, but no one provided information about her destination. His father intervenes, stating that he had to let Cheon Sarang go because she was causing disturbances in the house and even got into accidents. Additionally, his sister Warani complained that Cheon Sarang was distracting her from her studies. The prince, lying on his bed, reflects on the fact that he couldn't even bid farewell to her, and he remembers her as always being cheerful. But he notes that her last appearance was when she cried. As time passes, the prince graduates from university, and our heroine, Cheon Sarang, also completes her education. She begins to seek employment and attends interviews at hotels for a job. Her genuine and warm smile proves to be a significant asset during the interviews, and she is selected for a job in a hotel. Scene shifts, as Prince's father is scolding him for his behavior at work. Father expresses his frustration and disappointment, stating that he had advised his son to learn the basics of their family company from the bottom up. However, the prince's behavior at work has been problematic, as he arrives late, talks back to superiors, and even calls higher-ups without permission. The prince tries to explain that he wasn't fired, but rather, they kicked him out. His father criticizes his actions and warns that he always seems to act this way. The prince's sister reassures her father that she will take care of her brother and help him adjust to his new role. She tells her father not to worry about him and emphasizes that since it's his first time working with the family company, she will ensure that he receives the necessary support. The father calms down and informs his children that he's giving them both a chance to work as higher-ups in the company. He expresses his desire to see their abilities as executives, as either of them could potentially be his successor. However, he is not yet sure which of them is better suited for the role. As scene shifts as we see Cheon Sarang has started a job at a Prince hotel, and her co-worker makes a comment about her being an attractive but disposable worker. Cheon Sarang is confused by the term disposable worker, and her co-worker explains that it refers to people who only stay at the job for a short time. She is instructed to do some cleaning tasks, including wiping a particular place, and is told that her job is to keep the place in good condition for arriving customers. Despite the co-worker's comments and the tasks at hand, Cheon Sarang is determined to maintain a smiling attitude. When her co-worker asks why she's so happy, Cheon Sarang explains that they were told to always keep their smiles up when they started the job. Cheon Sarang's co-worker clarifies that they are only required to maintain their smiles while they are inside the hotel. Cheon Sarang points out that they are inside the hotel at the moment, but the co-worker explains that the hotel officially begins from the lobby, and they aren't even wearing their uniforms yet. She advises Cheon Sarang to avoid working at the front of the hotel as much as possible, as that's how she has managed to keep her job for the past 5 years. Cheon Sarang notes that the co-worker is a full-time worker, and the co-worker agrees, saying that getting a full-time job in this place is tough. She encourages Cheon Sarang to follow her lead and mentions that she can make it as well. The co-worker then instructs Cheon Sarang to go to a specific area and thoroughly clean everything to make it dazzling. Cheon Sarang agrees and says she will wipe it until it's all dazzling. The scene shifts, and the assistant asks the prince, "What are you doing?" The prince replies, "I'm shopping. I wanted to buy a few clothes. I didn't want to carry them around after I bought them." As salesperson shows a limited edition item, saying, "What do you think of this item? We only brought 3 models of these items to the country as a limited edition." The prince decides to buy all, to which the salesperson mentions that one has already been sold. The prince decides to buy both of the remaining 2 items as his assistant then asks, "Why did you buy 2 of the same item?" The prince responds, "I don't like other people wearing the same clothes as me." In the next scene, we see the prince exercising on a treadmill. Cheon Sarang comes and speeds up his treadmill, causing him to lose his balance and fall to the ground. Angrily, he asks, "Hey, what the hell are you doing?" Cheon Sarang, upset, retorts, "Mr. Guest, do you think it's fun for me to clean the sweaty seats after you use each machine? I'm not the type of person that's going to allow you to treat me like that." As the prince examines an envelope he finds, he asks, "What's this?" Inside the letter, he reads, "This is a message for the beautiful lady who works hard cleaning the machines. You look beautiful doing your job. I look forward to your response and maybe to spend a night in the future with you." The prince is taken aback, wondering if Cheon Sarang has mistaken him for someone else. Cheon Sarang, still angry, thought he looked like a normal person, but since he was wearing that strange shirt, I'm sure that it was him. Her co-worker then informed her, "There's a male guest with a tiger on his shirt that asked me to give you this." Cheon Sarang thought, "What a pervert." Meanwhile, a voice is heard as the assistant informs, "Excuse me? Miss Director, we didn't receive a call from you notifying you of your visit." The director questions, "Can't I just come here?" The assistant politely responds, "Of course you are more than welcome here." Cheon Sarang greets the director, saying, "Oh, hello. I was just explaining to customers about how the free snack bar works in the hotel." The director asks her to tell her exactly what she told the customer. Cheon Sarang explains, "Here in King Hotel, we offer to our guests free tea, coffee, and light snacks in the lounge area from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. every day. Please feel free to use it comfortably." The director then inquires, "What should I take note of after booking a room here?" Cheon Sarang responds with a smile, "Make sure that the name of the reservation and the name on your room card are correct, and then see if the back of your card is signed by the receptionist." The director decides to promote Cheon Sarang to work in the lobby, but the assistant interjects, "There's a 2-year rule for that kind of promotion. She has only been here for just a month." The director insists, "Really? Then promote her immediately. She has a face suited to work in the lobby." After some days, the prince is preparing for an announcement as a higher executive, walking with his assistant when he suddenly realizes, "I left my phone." His assistant suggests, "Let's just go. I'll tell someone to bring it to us." The receptionist informs Cheon Sarang, saying, "Ms. Sarang, please go to the suite room and look for a cell phone. After you find it, take it to the administration office." Cheon Sarang visits the administration office and is astonished by its size, thinking, "This place is even bigger than her home. Where could that phone be?" As she searches, she exclaims, "Oh, I found it." As her hands get dirty due to ink, she thinks washing her hands in the bathroom to. Meanwhile, the prince also ends up coming back, wondering, "Why was my pen busted? I should have checked it before leaving." "Even if we are family, you have to abide by the rules. You'll have to come back after I print another copy," as his sister scolds him. The prince takes off his shirt and goes to the bathroom. In the bathroom, as Cheon Sarang is washing her hands, their eyes meet, and they both blush. Cheon Sarang screams, and quickly rushes outside. Cheon Sarang says, "I'm really sorry. I came to look for your phone, I'll leave. The prince recalls, isn't she the same employee who screamed at me? He tells her to wait and asks, we have met before, right? Cheon Sarang responds, no, this is the first time I've seen you. The prince insists, don't you remember? Some time ago, at the running machine, you called me a pervert. Cheon Sarang starts to remember and says, huh? A pervert? As she recalls, tiger shirt? The prince asks, you remember me now? Cheon Sarang confirms, yes, I do, with a disgusted expression, adding, that was the first and last time I received a letter like that. The prince then asks her to apologize for calling him a pervert, to which Cheon Sarang tells, he should be apologizing. The prince retorts, why should I apologize? Cheon Sarang says, if you don't know why, then I don't have anything else to talk about with you. I'll be leaving now. Have a nice day, Mr. Guest. The exchange between Cheon Sarang and the prince escalates as the prince demands, I'm not done talking to you. I'm sorry, but I don't want you to keep telling me weird things. And please don't follow me, I'm not interested in your proposals. That's not the problem here. From now on, I'll stop trying to be nice with you. I'm warning you. Don't ever cross paths with me again. Cheon Sarang replies, as you wish, Mr. Guest. That's exactly what I plan to do. Stop smiling at me. She explains that in the hotel, they have a policy to always be nice to customers and keep their smiles high, but if her smile makes him uncomfortable, he's free to leave. As the lift arrives, the prince goes in first, leaving Sarang frustrated. She thinks, what the heck is wrong with that guy? What a pervert. But as the lift doors open again, she wonders why he didn't go down. The prince reflects, I've never met someone so annoying in my life, and I want to make it clear that I don't care about anything that you said to me. You better have that in mind. Cheon Sarang is still upset by the prince's earlier comments and thinks, how could he say that to me? The next time I run into him, I'll teach him a lesson. The scene then shifts to an announcing ceremony where the new executive director, Guwon, is being welcomed. It's announced that Cheon Sarang will give him a bouquet of flowers as a welcoming gift. This news leaves Cheon Sarang's face pale, and as the prince sees her, he remarks, we meet each other. Their encounter takes an unexpected turn as they find themselves at the center of an official event. As time passes, Cheon Sarang starts her own hotel. One day, the prince comes to her and asks for a job in her hotel. Cheon Sarang is taken aback and exclaims, I don't think what you ask is possible. You already have a good full-time job, why would you want to work part-time here? How can he be so shameless? The prince persists, saying, I know you can, please accept me. I'm free on weekends. I'll work twice as hard, please accept me. In response, Cheon Sarang gives him a challenge, in that case, please let me see your smile one time. When the prince smiles, it's so bright that Cheon Sarang is impressed. She finally relents, you can start from next week. The prince expresses his gratitude, saying, thank you so much, I'll do my best. As Cheon Sarang blushes and tries to hold herself together, she asks the prince, but of course, you'll have to work hard and do your best. Do you think you can do that? The prince confidently responds, I can. At that moment, another guest appears, and Cheon Sarang greets them, saying, well, thank them for being the first people to make reservations here. This is a very competitive business after all. Her friend points out, of course we had to make a reservation, it's the first business you run by yourself, we wanted to come together to see it. We know that you put everything that you had to pay for this place, and it must have not been easy to decorate the whole building. But it looks so cute and neat. But her friend asks, what is he doing here, and why does he have a name tag on him? Cheon Sarang cryptically responds, it's a long story. As she explains to her friend, the prince is clearing up the misunderstanding between them as they work together. They continue working together until she participates in the King of the Land ceremony, that I could understand it. My real dream wasn't to stay at that hotel. What I truly wanted was a place that could be unforgettable to many people, a place that could make them smile wholeheartedly. So I made this place with that in mind. For now, he's working here part-time. Her friend speculates, I guess he's just using the part-time job as an excuse to keep going after her. Cheon Saran feels a bit bad for making him work so hard and admits, I just came here trying to make my dream come true, but I do feel a bit bad for making him work so hard. Her friend questions, what do you mean? He followed you here to be with you. But at that moment, Cheon Saran greets some customers and says, come on in, dear customers. Welcome to Hotel Amour. The prince, who is also working there, seems to be having fun, but Cheon Saran reminds him, do it properly. It's not supposed to be fun. Be careful, you are going to trip over if you keep going like that. But as the prince falls, he calls out to her, Sarung, lend me a hand. Cheon Saran responds playfully, come here, but the prince suddenly pulls her over as if he knew she was going to do that. As the scene shifts, Sarang instructs folding work and suggests, we do it together because we will finish sooner. The prince comments on her work ethic, saying, don't you ever stop working? As expected from the former best talent of King Hotel, Cheon Saran clarifies, you didn't get it, as she wants to give the best service possible to our customers. As she shows how to fold them, we can see clearly in her hard-working mode, making it challenging for the prince to find the right timing to tell her something. Cheon Saran then asks the prince, are you going to take out this trash? The prince agrees. Meanwhile, the prince's sister and his nephew arrive at Cheon Saran's hotel. She seems a bit surprised and comments, it would have been better if they told us in advance. When the prince's sister and nephew arrive at Cheon Saran's guest house, the prince is a bit surprised and asks, what are you doing here? His sister responds, do we need a reason to come to a guest house? I made the reservation properly. Is there any problem? The prince reassures her, saying, no, and they enter the guest house. Cheon Saran warmly welcomes them. In the next scene, the prince is seen deep in thought, pondering how to propose to someone. Cheon Saran notices his contemplative state and asks, what are you doing? The prince, taken aback, quickly responds, nothing. Meanwhile, the prince's nephew calls out to his aunt, saying, Auntie, look at me. Cheon Saran watches as the young boy climbs a tree and admires his courage. The prince, however, is concerned, saying, that's dangerous. But Cheon Saran disagrees, exclaiming, how cool. She tells the boy, you really climbed the tree pretty well, Jihu. Cheon Saran observes, now that I think of it, Jihu really looks like you. The prince inquires, do you think so? Cheon Saran affirms, yes, I do. Were you that cute when you were a kid? The prince playfully boasts, I was even better than him. Cheon Saran teases, you always find the chance to show off yourself. Just focus on cleaning and doing your part-time job properly. The prince changes the topic, saying, stop looking at my phone. Cheon Saran shares a childhood memory, saying, oh, I also used to have fun climbing trees when I was young. The prince comments, a girl interested in climbing trees is a bit weird. Cheon Saran defends her childhood interests, asking, what's so weird about it? The prince then reminisces, I remember that once in middle school, I told my friends that my ideal type of girl was someone who could climb trees well. The playful banter continues as the prince shares that people used to make fun of him because he had a preference for girls who could climb trees. Cheon Saran laughs and asks, why, did your first love also used to climb trees? The prince ponders, come to think of it, who was it? Was it my second love? Cheon Saran playfully calls his attention, saying, hello? Are you hearing me? The prince suddenly realizes and exclaims, I can see. My first love. Cheon Saran is taken aback, asking, huh, me? The prince affirms, yeah, it's you. I see, so you were her. So I'm always with my first love. The prince then makes a heartfelt proposal, saying, marry me. Please be my first and last love. Cheon Saran happily accepts, saying, yes, I do. The story ends with the two of them leaving together, heavily implying a happy and romantic future for the couple.